In my hand, I have a full set of hybrid irons from 11 Golf. These things are meant to make the golf ball go higher, further, and ultimately just make this game a little bit easier. So in today's video, I'm gonna dive deep into these things, see what all the fuss is about, and ultimately find out who exactly these golf clubs are for. I'm not bluffing. This is a full set of hybrid irons, 3-iron all the way down to pitching wedge. I mean, traditionally, 3 and 4 hybrids, they've been kind of in people's bags for the better part of 15, 20 years. You're seeing more with, let's think, kind of beginner clubs, senior clubs, women's clubs. You're seeing 5, 6 hybrids in play, maybe even a 7 hybrid. But the 8-9 pitching wedge hybrid, that's new stuff, and I'm skeptical. I'm very, very skeptical of just like what they'll do, how they'll feel, how they'll perform. So diving into this test and review is going to be incredibly fun for me because I think I'm gonna learn a lot, and I'm probably gonna open my mind to a whole other way to play this game. So the clubs themselves, they're very, very affordable, but they're very, very high quality, coming in at 90 British pounds, so give or take your conversion rate, it's roughly 115 bucks a hybrid. I mean, your OEM hybrids are 250 all the way up to 300. So, roughly half the price, but still delivering arguably just as much quality. KBS Tour Graphite Iron Shaft, you come in 4 flexes. The stiffest we can get here is a stiff 80 gram. So me testing it, I mean, I play a heavier, extra stiff shaft, so I'm gonna see some spots where the shaft lets me down a little bit, but that's not really that important. Really quality super stroke grip. You come with a little minimalistic sock head cover because obviously if you have this many hybrids in your bag and you had a big bulky head cover, it's just gonna look a mess. So this minimalistic sock head cover is really nice. It's kind of the only time where you could have iron covers. I know they're hybrids, hybrid irons, but this is like the only time an iron cover is justified. Iron covers, there's no place for them in the game of golf, but I digress. I will say it is a little bit difficult finding the club in the bag with all of these because the number is down here on the shaft. So you kind of have to, especially in a cart when I use these on the course, you kind of have to, but if you're walking, obviously your club's in the spot it needs to be in, a little bit easier to find. But they look great. The 3 and 4 iron especially look just as good as the 3-4 hybrids that I've tested from TaylorMade Callaway. They look really, really good at address. The pitching wedge, it's a little weird to look at, I will be honest. So I took these out to the range, sight unseen, the pitching wedge and the 4 iron, and like I said, the pitching wedge was really a bit jarring to look down at because I'm used to looking at a pitching wedge. But my goodness, the ease of what to hit these things was like, I felt like I'd had to do nothing and it was just like launching high, really straight, even a slight miss hit, still like producing the same ball flight. The look was different, but the result was like so easy. I didn't have to do anything. I did try to kind of flight it a little bit and it would feel thin off the strike, but I was able to bring the ball flight down a little bit, but then I had to remind myself, I don't think the golfer that these are targeted to, the golfer that's using a hybrid iron pitching wedge, is trying to hit flighted, knockdown pitching wedges. They're just trying to get something that's gonna consistently allow them to get really good flight, really good distance, regardless of quality of strike. Then I went into the 4 iron and, I mean, this thing felt as good as any tour quality OEM long iron hybrid I've ever hit. Looked really good. I love the all black. It's really nice, especially with the black graphite shaft. And the flight, it just feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap. Like I think a lot of people with direct-to-consumer clubs think they're gonna feel cheap. The feel was good, the flight was good, and I could bring the flight down because if you're using a long iron hybrid, sometimes maybe it's off the tee on a narrow par 4. You feel you wanna hit it a little bit lower, keep it lower to the ground. And I could bring the flight down a little bit, not in compromising or sacrificing quality of strike. I was very, very impressed with my first impression of these out on the driving range. But then I had to bring them here into the studio and get some of the data and see just what they were doing, because the lofts are like a degree or two stronger than my irons. So when I was on the range, I was thinking they're probably going a little bit further. So I needed to get in here and I needed to test out and get some data and see just exactly what these club heads were producing. So I started with the pitching wedge, and yeah, like I said, a little weird to look at, but the numbers it was producing was pretty solid. Spin numbers looked pretty good, maybe a touch low, but the launch wasn't crazy high. I was thinking, oh, these are hybrids, they're gonna launch ridiculously high, especially in the short irons, and kind of be like unplayable. But they were launching really appropriately, and they were spinning pretty good for me. So I think, you know, the beginner or the person, maybe a senior that needs some help, they're gonna launch and spin really well for them. So that was impressive. And here's just like one example of just like a solid one. Like it went a couple yards further. It was effortless. It was really impressive. Seeing that launch angle at 22.5 degrees, carrying 147, spin just under 10,000, really strong, good numbers. It did take me a little bit more to get 5 solid shots. I just, personally, again, it's weird hitting a pitching wedge hybrid, so I would get steep on it. Yeah, it was a bit harder to get 5 solid shots to pull this average, but the averages are great, spin's great, launching 24 degrees, and I wasn't getting like nuked ones. Going into this, I was expecting, oh, you're gonna hit some that are just gonna go like 20 yards further because it's a hybrid, and you're just gonna sync up and you're just gonna mash it. And that didn't really happen, so that was surprising, but also very pleasing and impressive to see. Then I went into the 8-iron, and again, a couple degrees stronger than my 8-iron, seeing just a few more yards in the air, but I'm seeing the spin come down a little bit. The launch though, the launch is still really good. So you're getting good launch. For me, the spin's a little bit lower, like I said with the pitching wedge, but I think maybe a little lower swing speed. The right shaft, the spin numbers will probably come up a little bit, but they'll still be matched really well with good launch characteristics. So it's not like these hybrids are launching them straight in the air with not enough spin so that they're falling out of the sky, or launching them straight in the air with too much spin so they're falling out of the sky. They're launching and spinning really appropriately for the club head speed that I was producing. I was very impressed. And the 8-iron, it was 5 for 5. To pull this average, it was 5 for 5. It was so solid, so consistent. I probably hit my 8-iron in the 165 range, so we're seeing 5 more yards of carry, ball speed's good, club head speed's good. The spin is a little bit lower, but just really impressive stuff. And then I went into the 4-iron, and with the 4-iron, I was seeing better spin relative to what I would produce with my irons. And because of that, I was seeing numbers really appropriately matched to what my irons were doing. So that was kind of cool. So it's like the longer hybrids were matching really well with what my irons do, the shorter ones going a little bit further, but I think that's gonna help a lot of golfers. Just really solid, launch is really good. I was really impressed with the numbers these things were producing, and it just makes me think these things are gonna make golf so fun for a lot of beginners, or let's say those people that are losing a bit of speed and need a little bit of help in the top of the bag, so they can start adding really affordable, really high quality hybrids to the top of the bag and maybe make their way down if they're really enjoying the look and enjoying the numbers. Done range, done indoor, I had to go play with it. I had to go play. So I played 9 holes with these things, and out there, I started to see some of the holes for me personally. These clubs aren't targeted to me. They're not necessarily suited for me. The shaft is a wee bit soft. When I had to hit the 3 and 4 iron, I hit it off a couple tees and I hit it into 2 par 5s. It was nice. It was really what I would expect, but I definitely had to kind of swing a little softer, because if I did try to hit it hard, the shaft will kick just a little bit and it'll be a little bit harder to deliver the face where it needs to be, and the flight will kind of change. What one of my worries was like nuked shots. And I did experience it twice in the rough. It's so effortless. It just glides through the rough, but it kind of like creates a flyer. There's not a lot of friction. I hit one 8-iron that was like 15 yards too far. And in that instance, I mean, that's hit me into the crap over the green. I take caution in the rough with these things, but again, they're not targeted to me. So I think of that beginner, that senior, that maybe junior that needs a little bit of help in certain areas. Women golfers, getting out of the rough's tough. So if you've got something that's gonna really glide through the rough, it's gonna make it so much easier. I can't say enough good things about them. They look great, they feel great. The build quality is so good. The materials are so good. That's the best they can, like it's the only option. It is a little bit tough in a cart, but you need them because if you don't have them, it's like trying to look the loft and they're gonna clang against each other. Hybrid irons, like you gotta find a head cover for them, but that's the best option. I'm just, to me, it's tough. It's a little bit tough, but again, I digress. I'm really, really impressed at this price point, the quality of these golf clubs. You saw really solid numbers. You saw really, really great flight, really great consistency. Like I mishit these things sometimes and they just did the exact same thing. So I think about that beginner golfer. I think about my father-in-law as he's playing less golf as he gets a little bit older. I feel like I could give him probably the 3, 4, and 5 iron and it'll really help his confidence out there, help him hit some better shots at those yardages, and have more fun, play better golf. Like, it's a win. I said at the beginning of this video, golf is a really hard sport, and there's things that are being introduced to us that are making this game easier, and the 11 hybrids definitely are, and that's why they're so popular. Really, really cool stuff, and I know they've got drivers coming and wedges coming, so let me know, would you like to see me test some of the other stuff from 11, and also let me know, do you have things from 11? Because if there's anyone watching this video is wanting and someone can share that, yeah, these things are great, please let us know, share it down below, and we'll see you in the next video.